Hey, insight number 3 here. So we're going to talk in this one. This is pretty much all about a man named Algernon. That's a fun name. Algernon Sidney Gilbert, but I think he went by Sidney Gilbert. But his full name was Algernon Sidney Gilbert. So all these mission calls that happen in Section 52 at this conference, and Section 53 is Sidney Gilbert going, what about me? I want to help, but you didn't call me. Hello, me. So he's not saying, well, what about me? He's just like, me? Can I do it? Because we all want to know, like, when jobs are all handed out and we're the only one that sort of didn't get one, and we're like, okay, you know, that happens in our ward, right? Everyone's got a calling, and you're sitting there without a calling, and you're going, did you forget me? Right? You feel a little forgotten sometimes. Sometimes you even get a calling and then don't hear anything about it, don't get any information or training or know what you're supposed to do, and you're still saying, did you forget me? Because we all wonder about that. So this is Sidney Gilbert going, what about me? Now, this is a little bit in Section 53 because the Lord covers it off, but in Section 57, verse 8, get that right because 58's next week, covers more what Sidney Gilbert's actual position is, but this just gives it. So in verse 4 it says, and also to be an agent unto this church, and the place which shall be appointed by the bishop according to commandments which shall be given hereafter. So his calling, Sidney Gilbert's calling, was to help the bishop. Who's the bishop? Edward Partridge. Bishop needs an assistant. That's kind of, in a way, the first counselor to the bishop probably ever called, but it's pretty cool. Anyway, but Sidney didn't get assigned. This is the important thing. But he took initiative and he asked, how can I help? And this is what we need to look at. So you can say, what about me? But how can I help? What is my calling? And do go link that with 57.8 because we will get to that. So be proactive about asking and where to serve. And we can be. My notes don't even make sense. But we can be this too. We can say, hey, I want to help out. How do I help out? Like, what can I do? Years ago, I had a bishop who particularly didn't really like me. He's a good man. I actually like him. I think he's a great guy. But for some reason, he took exception to not talking to me and sort of, I don't know why. Anyway, past is past. I still think he's a great guy. He still doesn't really talk to me. And I'm like, fine. You don't have to be besties with everybody at church. But I didn't have a calling. And I think for him, he was thinking I was really unwell and that I didn't need a calling. Whereas for me, even if I'm unwell, I need a calling because it's what motivates me to keep going. So I think he had his best intentions in mind. I just don't think he really talked to me to find out if that was best for me. And, he was doing the best he could. I'm not downing on our bishop. He really is a good guy. I just think he just didn't think through what his thought process was around that. But anyway, I don't have a calling and I wanted to serve. So I'm like, okay, what can I do to serve? And the sister missionaries were struggling, and there was a lot of them at this time at our visitor centre. Some of them I made really, really good friends with. Hey Katie, hi Maddie if you're watching, and all you other wonderful, beautiful ladies. They were at their visitor centre here, which is about, out by our temple, it's about a 10-minute drive, so it's not too far. And to go and help them and literally help feed them because they were struggling with that. They didn't have a kitchen out there to cook with, and yet there's nowhere out there you could go buy food. Exactly. And it was hard for them. Plus, they also didn't know how to cook. So come on, people, you're sending your kids on mission. Teach them to cook. Please, because it ain't that easy. You can't just go buy frozen stuff at the local place, or you can't just get, food here is expensive. Food in a lot of countries is expensive or hard to access, so teach them that. Anyway, I was helping them with that. I helped them to navigate the local area, did all sorts of things for them, because just became like their mother figure, one of them, because I love doing that. And I was able to do that. And doing that really improved my life. At the same time, I also started attending institute because I figure, well, not working because I'm not well enough to work, but I've got the opportunity for education. So let's go to Institute and get educated because that's free and it's church and it's good. So yay. So I went and joined a church history class, which, yay, awesome, fantastic. It was when, what's it called? Something of the Restoration. Yeah, anyway, really good. And learned a lot from that, and it really changed my life because I then got called to teach the class because that teacher moved on, and I'm like, great, now I'm teaching Institute. How did that happen? That was the way I came to that because I was willing to go and say, hey, what about me? I want to serve. So yeah, there's always a place for you, and your spiritual gifts are needed. And apparently, my spiritual gifts has led me to teaching. And I was just saying last night to my husband that, I had a class yesterday of 37, which was pretty freaking awesome, really. And they're a great class, and I love them. There's amazing young people in there. And they turn up every week and they listen to me. And I'm like, really? They listen to me? They're like actively listening to me? Because I know that the words that I have when I teach are definitely from Heavenly Father and Jesus Christ and Heavenly Mother too. Those words that just come, those experiences I share, they weren't ones I planned. My notes are brief, mate. They're little. And yet, here I am rambling on, and somehow it works. Go figure. Because I know it comes from Heavenly Father and Jesus Christ and that whole sphere of influence. And I try and teach by the Spirit, and we were talking about this because my husband's going to give a talk on it in High Council about teaching by the Spirit and how that works better to really instill it into people's hearts and minds. I research what I teach, I prepare, and I teach by the Spirit, and I teach the way Jesus would teach, with love and kindness and compassion, and what's going to help you now, and to make it easy if you understand now. Hopefully. I try anyway. But that's what my gift is. So that's where I am. Now I'm rambling on again. But are you ever saying, what about me? I can help. Or are you just sitting there feeling pitiful because you weren't called for something? Because Sydney here could have just sat there and gone, oh, well, I don't need to go on a mission. La, 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 let's carry on in life. But he actually said, no, 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 what about me? I want to help. And thus he got to be assistant to the bishop and really help the bishop. So that worked out. Now, President Nelson, he said, I promise you that as you consistently give the Lord a generous portion of your time, he will multiply the remainder. And I know that to be true absolutely 100% because I endeavor daily to give a generous portion of my time to the Lord, and absolutely everything I need to get done in a day, not everything I want, but everything I need to get done in the day to run life, to do grocery shopping, which takes hours and is stressful right at this time. All those things. Suddenly I have enough time. Like, it does multiply the remainder. I think, gosh, I got a lot done in that last hour that I only had for the day, and yet I got it done. Somehow it all fits in. And I know that when I don't give any time to the Lord, things just pile up and do not fit in, and I've had that in the past, and I'm not doing that again. So that is something that's definitely true. So if you don't sit there and be pitiful because you weren't called for something, or whatever's going on with you right now, or maybe your church is still only half back and not quite there, then just go help in primary. Just go hang and chill and go say, what can I do? How can I help? I want to help. Really. Because you've got talents and skills and spiritual gifts that we need. So bring them. All right. I'll see you in a bit for the fourth one. Yay, there already.